So, Steve, I'm going to let you introduce what the Lee Resolution is.
So Richard Henry Lee, who introduced on June 7th a formal resolution that which was very well thought out. If you read it, it's very well constructed. This was not something he did the night before.
Mm-hmm.
This has been coming for a while, right? The issues of taxation have been going on for quite a while. Many of us are aware of that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that really for about a 10-year period, there was tension and issues. We've heard of the Boston Tea Party as an example of an event that occurred in that 10 years, right? And so on June 7th, Richard Henry Lee proposed to the Continental Congress that the formal declaration that we should be that colonies should be free states,
Yep.
free and separate from the crown. That was a huge thing because in the history of the world, it is not an exaggeration to say, in the history of the world, and certainly in the history of the British Empire, which at that time was the most powerful nation in the world, the largest navy, the largest army, I mean, the most money, they were all over the world. No one had ever had the audacity to say, we're breaking away from you. We're not going to be a part of you. We're going to be our own thing as a country, forming a country. People had never formed a country in this world. Countries had always been formed by monarchs or lords or despots, or you just go back through it, whether it's in Asia or anywhere, right? People never formed a country. No group of people got together and formed a country. And that's what this resolution was saying, was that we, the people of these colonies, should be independent states and form our own country and be free of the crown. And that event, it's interesting, June 7th kind of comes and goes. And, we don't light any fireworks or, have any holidays around it. But that had to be proposed and then refined and debated, which led eventually to what we do celebrate, which is the signing of the Declaration on July 4th. But July 4th, a lot happened from June 7th to July 4th. It had to, because this was such a big thing. And there was no playbook,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Richard Henry Lee introduced this. It needed massaging, it needed work, it needed debate. There was huge risk. We take it for granted that this worked. Nobody knew that this was going to work. The British could have come over here and stamped down everybody and killed off everybody who tried to rebel, and that would have been the end of that. And we would have never even remembered June 7th. So, the fact that these pictures you're seeing here exist was not a given. This was the courage, Andy, that you were talking about earlier. This took a lot of courage because they knew they were starting a fight that the odds said they were not going to win, but they had faith, they had conviction, they had belief, and they had um,
Courage.
need. They felt the need to do it. They didn't feel they had any other choice, and that's powerful.
That is. So, let's start with this, and then we're going to jump into the family. So, Richard Henry Lee on June 7th declares independence. I keep thinking there's different verbiage to use. It's not like he proposed and was like, "Hey guys, I think this might be a good idea." But listen to the words that he says. It's resolved that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. I wish I had this on the thing, but it's not there. That they are absolved from all allegiances to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved.